At just 11 years old, she entered the modeling world and soon became one of the youngest cover girls in American magazine history. At 12, she was hailed as one of the most unforgettable faces in the world. By 14, she was appearing in commercials alongside Michael Jackson. Later, she transitioned into acting and exploded onto the global stage as Alice in Resident Evil. Over 15 years and 6 films, she single-handedly built what many fans call the Alice universe. Today's spotlight is on Milla Jovovich. A former supermodel with an icy elegance, and arguably the most successful female action icon in video game adaptation history. For most audiences, their memory of her begins with Resident Evil, a franchise that once took the world by storm. The series spawned multiple sequels, all starring Milla Jovovich. Milla was born in 1975 in Kyiv, Ukraine. At the age of 5, she immigrated to the United States with her family. At 11, she appeared in a Revlon advertisement. By 12, she graced the cover of The Face, becoming one of the youngest cover models of her time. She quickly became a darling of the fashion industry, often described as a girl born for the camera. Invitations from major magazines and brands poured in, launching her rise to fame. Just when everyone assumed she would remain a model for life, she took a bold leap into acting. Encouraged by her mother, who was passionate about performance, Milla decided to pursue a film career. In 1988, at age 13, she took her first step into acting with a small role. Though minor, it sparked her love for performing. After testing the waters in various television appearances, she landed her first leading role at 16 in the romantic drama Return to the Blue Lagoon, 1991. The film was met with harsh criticism and received multiple Golden Raspberry nominations, including one for Milla as Worst New Star. Fortunately, many still recognized her dedication and bold performance, which captured significant attention. She also earned a nomination for a Young Artist Award, her first recognition of that kind. In 1993, she appeared in Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused, a film that would later become a cult classic of teen cinema. Around that time, she eloped with her co-star Shawn Andrews. The marriage lasted only a few months. By 16, she had already experienced both the highs and lows of fame and marriage. Perhaps disillusioned by her short-lived marriage or frustrated by a stalled acting career, Milla stepped away from Hollywood after Dazed and Confused. She moved to Europe, formed a band with friends, and released her album, The Divine Comedy. But her love for acting proved impossible to abandon. In 1997, director Luc Besson cast her in the sci-fi epic The Fifth Element. With her bright orange hair, bandage costume, and awkward yet innocent speech patterns, Lilu became one of the most iconic characters in 1990 science fiction. To prepare, Milla learned a fictional language and even contributed to developing its linguistic structure. She had to portray a character discovering the world like a newborn while delivering fierce physical performances and action sequences. The film was a global hit, turning her into an international star overnight. She later recalled that the production felt like a grueling boot camp with almost no rest. Yet it was this intensity that transformed her from model into a true actress. She and Luc Besson fell in love and married, but their collaboration on The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc, ultimately led to their separation. The film attempted to reimagine a religious epic, but received mixed reviews due to its narrative style. Milla earned a Golden Raspberry nomination for Worst Actress, and criticism grew louder than ever. In hindsight, even Besson admitted that working together non-stop may have strained their relationship. The film became both a monument to their love and a crossroads in their lives. Yet her intense, almost obsessive portrayal in Joan of Arc caught the attention of another director, Paul W.S. Anderson. In 2002, Resident Evil was released, marking a turning point in her career. The film was both a box office and commercial success, helping Milla realize which roles suited her best. With short hair and dual pistols, Alice quickly became an iconic figure in action cinema. Without Resident Evil, Milla Jovovich might have continued drifting through forgettable projects and possibly faded from the spotlight. After the disappointment of Joan of Arc, she had struggled to find direction. She even considered leaving acting again to return to music. Then Paul W.S. Anderson entered her life. From 2002 to 2017, 6 films in the franchise grossed over $1.2 billion worldwide, making Resident Evil the highest-grossing video game adaptation series of its time. Rather than adapting the game's original protagonist, the films introduced Alice, an original character. Short hair, red dress, dual guns. From amnesiac operative to virus-enhanced superhero, from survivor to post-apocalyptic leader, Milla trained for months in combat disciplines, including Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, karate, and firearms training. She performed many of her own stunts. The success of the Resident Evil franchise not only elevated her career to new heights, but also brought her lasting love. She married Paul W.S. Anderson in 2009, and they have 3 daughters. Resident Evil shaped her professional legacy and witnessed the growth of her family life. She later starred in Ultraviolet, A Perfect Getaway, and Monster Hunter, continuing to build her presence in the action genre. Some say she has been typecast in action roles, but from another perspective, in a market long dominated by male leads, she has consistently headlined female-driven action films for over 2 decades. That, in itself, is a breakthrough.